Live from Asmara, this is ERi-TV English News Broadcast for April 4th. The time is 10:30 p.m. right now. Good evening to you, and let's begin with the top stories. Conference focusing on ensuring the rights of women and children. Schools, Cultural and Sports Week in Gashbarka region. Iran warns to target Israeli embassies in the region. And Russia and Egypt reaffirm strategic partnership. Good to have you with us. Proceeding with our full reports. A conference focusing on ensuring the rights of women and children, as well as the eradication of harmful practices in general, and underage marriage and female genital mutilation in particular, was conducted in the port city of Massawa from 30 March to 3rd of April. At the conference, which was organized in collaboration with the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare branch and the Committee Overseeing the Rights of Women and Children, it was reported that encouraging results have been registered in some villages in the Massawa subzone. Noting the physical and psychological negative consequences of harmful practices, Mr. Ismail Usman, acting head of the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare branch in the subzone, said that strong efforts have been exerted in collaboration with partners to eradicate harmful practices. He also said that since the subzone has a comparative advantage in terms of village regrouping, harmful practices could be eradicated more easily through strong effort. Mr. Haile Asfaha, administrator of the subzone, noting that harmful practices eradicate a low level of public awareness, called for coordinated awareness-raising activities aimed at enhancing public understanding and participation in the eradication of practices. The participants conducted extensive discussion on the issue raised at the conference and expressed readiness to strengthen participation in the eradication of harmful practices. Schools, Cultural and Sports Week were conducted in the subzones of Mansoura, Agordet, Barantu, and Logo Ansaba in the Gashwarka region from 20 to 31st March. The Cultural and Sports Weeks, in which students from elementary and high schools took part, featured educational villages, debating, football and athletic competitions, as well as cultural and artistic performances. According to heads of schools in the subzone, the program, in which 2,000 students and 470 teachers took part, demonstrated strong competitiveness that attests to the students' strong capacity. The heads of culture, sports, and health in the subzone, on their part, called for reinforced participation of parents, the community, and partners in strengthening the students' innovation and creativity initiative, which is showing encouraging outcomes. Noting that the commendable discipline and competitiveness demonstrated by the students added impetus to the program, the administrator of the subzone commended the government institutions and associations that contribute to the successful implementation of the program. At the event, awards were handed out to winners of various competitions. The YPFDJ organization in Europe is conducting its 20th conference in Switzerland under the theme 20 Years Journey for Nurturing Conscious, Committed and Capable Youth. The conference is being attended by members of 10 European countries. Speaking at the opening event on 3rd of April, Mr. Fshatzion Petros, Eritrea's ambassador to Italy and coordinator of Eritrean embassies in Europe, said that the YPFDJ has played a significant role in foiling external conspiracies against the country through strengthening organizational capacity and participation in national affairs. Underlining that the history of Eritrea is the history of youth, Ambassador Fshatzion called on the youth to equip themselves with the necessary skills and education, enhance their awareness, and strengthen their organization so that they inherit the history and values of their society. Mr. Habtom Zarai charged the affairs at the Eritrean Embassy in Switzerland and Eritrea's permanent representative to the UN Human Rights Council, noting that youth are proud of the culture and values of their society, are the product of that society, expressed the significance of such a conference in nurturing competent youth who adheres to noble societal values and strengthen participation in national affairs. He also called for the active participation of national associations in supporting the activities of the YPFDJ organization in all its endeavors, noting that the conference has significant contribution in transferring noble societal values to the young generation and enabling them to share experiences with one another. Mr. Ismail Mohammed Noor, Head of Public and Community Affairs in Switzerland, commended those who contributed to the successful implementation of the conference. Mr. Michael Haile, chairman of the YPFDJ, on his part, gave an extensive briefing on the 20-year journey of the organization and expressed readiness to strengthen participation in national affairs by reinforcing organizational capacity and unity. At the event, Ambassador Fishatsen conducted a seminar focusing on the objective situation in the homeland, as well as global and regional developments. The National Union of Eritrean Women Europe branch also delivered a message of solidarity. At the conference, over 600 youth representatives of the YPFDJ from Switzerland, Germany, the Netherlands, the UK, France, Norway, Italy, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark are participating. Those were local news updates. Global affairs will follow as we come back. And globally, Iran warned that any aggression targeting the country's diplomatic mission will be met with retaliatory attack on the Israeli embassies across the region. Ibrahim Zolfaqari, the spokesperson for the Khatam al-Anbiya Central Headquarters, today cautioned Israel against any attack on Iran's diplomatic centers. In the event of any aggression or attack on any embassy or diplomatic center of the Islamic Republic of Iran, all the embassies of Israel in the region will be considered legitimate targets by the powerful armed force of Islamic Iran and will be struck. This is according to the statement. Iran has carried out extensive retaliatory attacks on U.S. assets in the region and on locations in the Israeli-occupied territories since the very first day of the U.S.-Israeli aggression. The Islamic Republic says it respects the sovereignty and territorial integrity of its neighbors and that its reprisal attacks are directed to U.S. assets and bases on their soil. It has also warned regional countries not to allow their territory to be used for attacks against Iran. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and his Egyptian counterpart Badr Abdelati reaffirmed the strategic partnership between the countries during a meeting in Moscow yesterday. The meeting followed talks held a day earlier between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Abdelati, during which the Russian leader invited Egypt to take part in the third Russia-Africa summit scheduled for this autumn. The sides discussed trade and economic cooperation, including plans to establish a logistic hub in Egypt for Russian petroleum product and grain, which is expected to support the needs of Arab states and the African continent. Abdelati said Cairo views Moscow as a primary ally and Egypt's leading partner in grain imports. Lavrov also noted the increase in trade turnover between the countries, stating that by the end of the last year, bilateral trade exceeded $10 billion, which is an increase of nearly 12%. Addressing ongoing regional crisis, the parties signaled that their positions largely coincide, particularly on the situation in the Middle East, with sides advocate de-escalation and political solutions. We're about to end our news broadcast, but before we say goodnight, here's the final look at the top stories. Conference focusing on ensuring the rights of women and children. Schools Cultural and Sports Week in the Gashwarka region. Iran warns to target Israeli embassies in the region. Russia and Egypt reaffirm strategic partnership. And that's all with the news for this session. On behalf of the entire news crew, thank you for watching. Salim Brahane signing off. Have a great night.